Alright, this is my 86 EFI engine I converted over. I just used my same heads there. Didn't have a problem with that. I believe I lied. I think there'll be an exhaust port, somewhere on the head. I think it's on the back side. Now that you have to plug, or else you'll be leaking exhaust out. And it'll be like mini straight pipes. It'll be kind of stupid sounding. So the manifold went right on, but it seemed as though that it had kind of more of a gap between it and the actual block. Not the heads, but just something kind of, I don't really know. So I just put a little extra gasket sealer in there. Not a huge difference, like maybe 20 thousandths of an inch. Just a little bit more, hardly noticeable, but that goes together pretty good. I got just a 65 mechanical distributor. It goes right in. I'm sure I could explain how to put that in, but I'm sure that you can find something that tells you about it. But I did change the gear. I remember. It's good that someone brought that up. So there's to change it over with the roller cam, you have to change it to a the gear is made of something different. I can't remember, but it's very important that it switches over. So I had one sitting around off of the old distributor that I pulled out of here, so I just switched them. So it takes a little bit of doing, but it's possible. As far as the timing cover goes, most people wouldn't even know when they looked at it. The front of my engine looks very old school. There's a lot of hoses running. You just can't really get down there and see it. A purist would see it, but like I see it, but it's not that big of a deal, and it's less of a headache. My pop bottle here. You can kind of see where that goes down into. That's my dipstick right there. There's a spot that is sitting there for it that if you pull the timing cover off, you can drill it out. And I just fabbed up a little bracket there to hold the end of the dipstick on, and attached it there, and that works pretty good. Pretty good placement. But you definitely have to plug that hole over there with something. I suggest using some type of metal screw or bolt and a lot of gasket sealer. If I remember right, that's what I did. I'd never buy that fuel pump. It's pretty bad. But if you were doing, running this type of timing cover, then of course, you have to run the electric. And you could hide it somewhere else. I thought about actually putting it in there. But it does does just as good as a mechanical, and it doesn't wear. They definitely last a lot longer. As far as the pulleys go, and the balancer, I use the exact same balancer, and since I have a T5 in here, I have the 80s flywheel. So I kept the same flywheel that would have been error correct with the engine. With a different bell housing, I'm not sure how that would work out, because you would need with a old school bell housing, I believe you would need a bigger flywheel, bigger in diameter. So I would think that would change what balancer you would need. I would think they would kind of work in tandem with each other, but I could be wrong there. I don't know, as I didn't try and do that. I don't know if you can see in there, but it is a 4-bolt. Someone mentioned that, and I just had a pulley laying around. I drilled it out. I just punched it and drilled new holes for it, and I've never had a problem. It's just an old pulley sitting around. This engine's free, so I didn't do anything that necessarily looks really, really nice. But and another thing, if you do run the newer timing cover, I made these brackets for my alternator. And you might not be able to do that. So, you know, that was kind of that took some time to get that together. So those are some things you might encounter. You know, old school headers bolt right up and everything. There's nothing wrong with the heads. If you wanted to, you could switch them to old school style heads, but I mean the 80s system works pretty good. They don't sound very good. You know, I have this one straight piped and it's not very loud, but it's just, you know, there's nothing you can do. They have no duration and no lift and no compression, so I mean, I wasn't expecting much, but I got 411 gears in this truck and it's made this, you know, pretty snappy. So I mean, they are a good engine to use. You know, and again, the manifold, that's dead simple. I just ran the same old, you could get better valve covers for it, but I just ran the same old ones, you know, and the same timing cover and water pump, because honestly, this water pump system cools a lot better than the 65s for whatever reason. You know, it could be just coincidence, but over in the garage there, I got a Galaxy, and this engine cools a heck of a lot better with a heck of a lot less fans and the same size radiator. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. But as far as that goes, the mechanical distributor, you know, it's once you change the gear, you just drop it right in. That's fine. And I guess the last thing is that hose that I had to do, because the inlet is on the opposite side. I got a flex hose that goes down and around. Now it looks longer than it is. It's not as bad as it looks. So, and someone had mentioned, get under here, someone had mentioned the oil pan. Well, this was off my 65 before I had built a high volume pan. This was on my 289 that's in my Galaxy, so, you know, I had a few, oh shoot, can't remember what it's called, but you know the tube that comes off your oil pump there, I had a few of those sitting around, so from, you know, the 60s era. So I just put one of those, I put a new oil pump on it, put one of those on, slammed that pan on there, and it worked just fine. I've never had a problem, and it looks a lot less stupid than, you know, if you have one of those double looking pans. It looks a lot less dumb and a lot more retro. I never even took the time to paint it. Like I said, free engine. There's kind of a better look. Transferred holes. Never had a problem with that. It looks bad, but I centered it and never had a problem with it. So, if there's anything else you'd like to know, just give me a heads up.